Hello everyone and welcome to Newegg TV. My name is Paul. Today we have another fantastic SuperCombo build for you guys. This is probably the superest of the SuperCombo builds that we have done thus far. It features no less than the EVGA SRX classified motherboard and 2 Intel Xeon processors. So we're going to go over all this hardware in front of us and then Kyle and I are going to be sort of assembling this thing and walking you guys through the build process. A quick rundown of the parts for this SuperCombo. For starters, of course, the EVGA SRX Classified, which is the C606 chipset, socket 2011. It's built for Xeon Sandy Bridge Core processors, and it can fit 2 of them. We have a Kingston HyperX 240 gig 3K SSD. That's going to be our system drive, our boot drive. We also have plenty of memory right there in our Kingston HyperX. This is 600 speed memory. We have a total of 12 4 gig sticks, so that's 48 total gigs of RAM. We also have the EVGA Next 1500 classified SuperNOVA 1500W power supply. This thing is a beast. For CPUs and cooling, CPUs of course, we got a couple Xeons. These are E5 2620s, LGA 2011. 2 of them of course for the 2 sockets and the motherboard. We have the Cooler Master TPC 812 CPU coolers. These are the ones with the vertical vapor chamber, so 2 of those, 1 for each processor. We also have a couple EVGA GeForce GTX 670s, so we're going to be setting those up in SLI. And to house this entire rig, we have no less than the Cooler Master Cosmos 2 Ultra Tower computer case. So moving on to the motherboard installation into the case. Been kind of looking forward to this because you do a few too many ATX installations and you get too used to being alright 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 standoff points. Install the ATX motherboard. The SRX here actually has no fewer than 13 of these officially designated standoff points here, the ones that are actually set up so you can attach metal screws to them that have mounting points for grounding. We're going to try to accommodate all those for our actual case over here because this is a sort of a different kind of form factor for the motherboard. Now we actually have lined up points that we believe, we're going to do a little test here in just a moment, that should have lined up for about 11 of these, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We have a couple more. We have one here that doesn't have a mounting point, another one down here that doesn't have a mounting point. For those, EVGA has thoughtfully included these little plastic standoffs, adhesive ones, so just pop that into the motherboard first, remove the adhesive, and then when you set the motherboard down, the adhesive provides a little bit of grip to it, but mainly it's just support there, so if any pressure is on the motherboard, it's going to prevent it from flexing. So after dropping the board into the case, we found there's at least one standoff point here that does not line up with the case, so we're going to use a plastic standoff for that. Just pop it in like that, it'll hang there loosely. We're going to peel off this adhesive part and then drop it into the case, and then the adhesive should give it a little bit more support there once it adheres to the case. Also over here at the corners we have these standoff points that aren't made for metal standoffs, but you can use them for plastic standoffs. So we're going to put a couple of these at either corner just to give it a little bit more support. And of course, prior to any motherboard installation, we must first install the input-output shield, because you can't do that once the motherboard is in there. As you guys may have noticed, we opted to remove this drive cage completely, and the reason being is that the Cooler Master Cosmos 2 has some fantastic cable management grommets, but with a motherboard this big, they're all completely covered. I don't know if you can come around here to the other side of the board. All these grommets, which are great for cable management, they're just back of the motherboard right now. So to give us some more space to actually get these cables around, we just removed that cage. We still got plenty of drive cages on the bottom if necessary. And you could even go with the cage still in, but for our purposes this is going to make our build go a lot smoother. So as is the case with a lot of larger builds, full tower builds in particular, we have an issue here. Our EVGA power supply, although they've given us plenty of cable length on their sleeved supplemental CPU power cable, not quite long enough to go behind the motherboard tray, reach back around. And we really want to use this cable because it's got the CPU plug, it's It's got the supplemental CPU power as well as the supplemental VGA power. So this is 3 separate plugs right up there, all tied into this one cable. So what we're going to do is we're going to use this one. This is a cable extension. This came with the Cosmos too, so it's part of this combo. We're simply going to plug this into it. This will mostly be back behind the motherboard tray, so you won't see much. This cable's not quite as clean looking, but it is going to be plugging into the power supply right through there. We're getting really close to being done here. We're moving on to the video card installation. So we got our 2 EVGA GTX 670 for the wing cards. I'm actually going to space these out pretty far just because we have the space, and I'm also going to use the rigid PCB, SLI PCB. It's actually made for 3-way SLI. Simply, a friend of ours recommended this to us. It's to give it a little bit more rigidity and a little bit more support for the cards and that sort of thing. And since we have plenty of space in this build, why not? You also get more space here for more airflow between the cards, so it should help them stay a little bit cooler. Then we can use our EVGA SLI bridge right there, like so. Our build is complete, at least we hope it's complete. I haven't powered it on yet, but we've adhered to all of the PC building myths and legends, so we don't have the side panel on before we start it up. I have bled for this build a few different times, and it doesn't seem to want to close up either, so that's a good thing. Whenever you bleed, that's good. And yeah, I guess nothing left to do but power it on, right, Kyle?
That's right.
That's right, okay. Aha. I hear fans. I don't see any fire. No fire. Things are looking good so far. Wait.
See it flashing.
Aha, there it is. See? So this build is pretty much set to go. We're in the BIOS over here. The next steps, of course, would be to load an operating system. Also to do some tweaking and tuning stuff, such as adjusting the BIOS fan speeds, making sure we get a nice balance between cooling and noise generated. Another nice thing to note is that we really only needed a basic flathead Phillips head screwdriver for this build. I used a cutter to open some stuff. Other than that, we used some twist ties and zip ties. Most of all that was included in the accessories with the Cosmos 2 case or the motherboard. So everything was pretty much taken care of for us. This hasn't really been a complete tutorial video. If you guys are interested in learning more details on how to build a computer in general, you can find those on our Newegg YouTube channel. In the tutorial section, we have a full how to build a computer series. For this build, you can get it looking just like this if you want to build the combo from the Newegg website. That's available, link to that down in the description. Make sure you have your checkbook ready because this is not a cheap build. Also not for beginners, so bear that in mind. But this would be great for video editing, for any high-end applications that you need to run, especially if you're doing enterprise work, if you're doing fluid dynamics, if you're working in the health region. I know there's software over there that I've never even touched, but it's very demanding on your CPU. Also for gaming, we got the 2 GTX 670s and SLI, so those would kill just about any games that we want to throw at it right now. But that's all for this video. If you enjoyed, you can find more on our Newegg YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe while you're over there. I'm Paul with Newegg TV, here with Kyle, who's been running the camera and also helping me along with this build. Thanks for watching, everyone. We'll see you next time.